Good evening. My name is Adrian. I'm your Athens, Georgia County Weather Girl, and we're here tonight to talk about the weather. All right, so presently in Athens it's 68 degrees. Relative humidity is at 93%. Winds out of the northeast 5 miles an hour. We've experienced some rain this evening in Athens, Georgia. At times that rain's been kind of heavy, depending on where you are. Certainly areas north of Athens and west of Athens have seen more of that rainfall happen, 2 to 4 inches over in Atlanta. There have been a couple of warned tornadoes in the North Georgia mountains, and as well as some like hail that fell earlier today, all not associated with Helene. This is part of a low system that's moved in from the west today. All right, so where's Helene right now? Helene is currently a little bit above the Yucatan. It's a Category 1 system. It's been hanging out here trying to bleed out some dry air it took in when it went over the Yucatan earlier today. We expect that's going to continue to work its way out, to become more organized with a tight eye wall over the evening hours. Once this thing does organize and we have a nice tight and well-defined eye walls, when this thing's going to really start to develop and rapidly develop. National Hurricane Center expects it's going to make landfall in Florida around 8 o'clock tomorrow, with a Category 4 intensity, which is just, it's bonkers. It's huge. There's not going to be, I don't think that it's going to get any stronger. In fact, there's a chance that it might even come back down to a Cat 3 by landfall. That's what we're hoping for. I don't think this thing is going to ever make it to a Category 5. If it does, good Lord. But I just don't think the weather, the dynamic system don't support that right now. You have to pretty much have to have perfect conditions for that to happen. And here we see right now this thing is still not quite together yet, and it was expected this thing was going to be together by now. National Hurricane Center, we can see the cone of uncertainty right below me here. They've gradually shifted that cone of uncertainty westward over the day. Right now they expect that hurricane's going to travel up a little bit over Atlanta, or a little bit west of Atlanta actually. The model data, some of the models have the system coming up middle Georgia, or even a couple of them over Athens directly. I'm going with the National Weather Center. There's really smart people there, and I have faith that their PhDs in tropical meteorology, they have them for a reason, and they know what they're doing. But we'll take a look at one of the models anyway, just to kind of give you a kind of a little review over what can we kind of expect. So this is one of the models, the HWRF. All four of these models are basically the same. They're all going to make landfall as like Category 4, and then where they go from here, they kind of diverge a little bit. Some have it go up the center of the state, some to the right. What I wanted to show here is that this particular system is a very strong hurricane. It has a very large footprint, so that we're going to see some convection bands well ahead, and not only the convection, we're also going to see some wind gusts well ahead of the core of the system as it moves across Florida into South Georgia and eventually up into the Atlanta and Athens, Georgia area. Every hurricane, and folks who have experienced hurricanes in Florida and whatnot, and you kind of know this already. So basically, if you kind of imagine, you draw like a quadrant over any hurricane, with the center of that hurricane kind of being the center of the quadrant. The eastern and upper quadrant right here, this is the area where you're going to see the greatest amount of wind and convection. And the reason why that is, it's kind of simple when you think about it. So this hurricane is traveling north. Okay, we're traveling this direction, and the hurricane is anti-cyclone. It's like going, it's counterclockwise direction the winds are. So if it's going north in this direction, and the winds are also coming up this way, this over here, you're going to have a lot of heavy. What's where you're going to be most of your winds. You'll have a little bit on the west side, but not nearly as much. Okay, and so that's important to know, because with the increased convection and the wind gusts that'll happen on the eastern quadrant, that's where you typically find the increased chances of having some tornadoes spin up. I don't think that we're going to have to worry as much about tornadoes through the Thursday and the Friday early morning hours, but it is definitely an enhanced risk of that type of weather happening. I think most of the risk of tornadoes is probably going to be a little bit down in this South Georgia area, again, kind of east of the track. This is where the most intense winds are going to happen. So with any luck, we won't have any tornadoes spin up, but there's a risk of that happening. All right, so there's going to be quite a lot of rain to fall. In fact, so much that the National Weather Service has issued a basically a warning that we could have in some areas of Georgia. The majority of Georgia will have at least a 40% chance of what were considered like excessive rainfall. And what that means is flash flooding. And in portions of North Georgia and far southern Georgia here, you can see these areas of pink. This is going to be a 70% chance of enhanced rain and flash flooding. And not just a little bit of flash flooding, but a lot of it. Not really seeing on the map right here. So I guess I can maybe draw the counties on here with this right here. But part of Athens is in that pink area. The western half of Athens, Clark County is in that pink area of that 70% chance of enhanced rain. So as we move into tomorrow, what we can expect is we're going to see some rain start building in ahead of Helene around 11 to 12 o'clock. And that rain's going to continue through the day. It's going to get heavier and heavier as these bands start moving into our area. Some of the forecast we're looking at potentially of 8 to 10 inches of rain. Let's see if I can find my map here. I probably can't. Let's see, I'm not able to put my fingers on it right now, so I'm not going to show that to you. Some of the projections we have are anywhere from like 6 to 8 inches, and I've seen some of 10 to 12 inches of rain. We won't really know, again, until we have a little better idea of the track this thing takes and where those rain bands are going to set in. That's just going to be up in the air, and we kind of won't know that until closer to the event. So regardless, we're going to have a lot of rainfall in a very short amount of time. And because a lot of this rain is going to happen ahead of the storm, there's a risk of the wind gusts that we're going to experience with regard to like some of the trees have been stressed. There's the soft ground. There's going to be some trees falling over, unfortunately. The majority of that wind damage potential for power outages is going to be in South Georgia. However, let's see if I can get to my other maps here. Okay, so this is what I wanted to show right here. So the majority of the wind damage we're going to see, with regard to power outages, is going to happen in South Georgia. And so this is Helene coming into landfall right here in the Big Bend of Florida, the Appalachia Bay area. And you can see some of the wind gusts right now around in the Albany and Valdosta area, Tallahassee area, 77 miles an hour wind gusts. That's crazy. And when you figure out there's so much rain that's been falling ahead of this system, it's just going to create a situation. Trees are going to fall on power lines, and they're going to probably fall on houses, they're going to fall on cars, they're going to fall in everywhere. So there's going to be a lot of damage as a result of the system if it verifies out as a Category 4. So these wind gusts, according to this particular model, we're looking at the RRFS A model. It has the wind gusts start to get into Clark County again around that 1 o'clock Friday morning, 58 mile an hour gusts, and that's going to kind of continue to grow to 73, 70, 71 mile an hour gusts, 73. It's going to happen for a few hours, these strong wind gusts. Sustained winds are going to be in the 30 to 40, 45 mile an hour range, which is, again, a lot. Like, you think of a nice brisk windy day, that sometimes we get like 20, 25 mile an hour gusts. That'll kind of be the static wind from the system. And then on top of that, you have these very strong, 60, 70 mile an hour gusts. That's why there's a potential to have power outages. And we're going to have a lot more of that in South Georgia. There is going to be some isolated power outages that happen in the, Athens, Winder, Watkinsville, Winterville area as well. So just to be prepared for that. As far as preparedness goes, so because there is these very high wind gusts, a lot of convection, a lot of rain coming down, there's potential there for some isolated spin-ups of tornadoes. I would encourage you all to have an app installed on your phone that will notify you of an actual tornado on the ground, so you have time to get out of bed and act your safety plan, which you should have drawn up well in advance of this. You shouldn't wait till 2 in the morning to figure out what you're going to do. Find an area of your house that's away from windows and doors. An interior room is ideal. If you have a basement, go for it. Do that. If you are in a mobile home or in a camper or outdoors in any kind of situation, it'd be ideal to try and find some shelter. If you have to stay at a friend's house or whatnot, it might be a bad idea to do that. Have apps all on your phone. Make sure you have Do Not Disturb turned off, because I usually have that on. And if you have Do Not Disturb, those warnings might not play for you. Safe place to go in your house. As far as preparations go, if you're South Georgia, you might want to prepare for a couple weeks of power outages. Here in the Athens area, I don't think that we're going to have that widespread of power outages. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But you might want to have at least a few days of non-perishable food items. Don't run out to Kroger tomorrow and buy milk and eggs. That shit's going to go back, just don't do it. Just get yourself some ravioli, get some bread, some peanut butter and jelly, and you'll have food for a little bit. If your power does go out, just don't open your refrigerator. Just don't. If you have a generator, you can plug it into the refrigerator every now and then to kind of get it to cool down a little bit. But most people are not going to have generators. So just don't open your freezer. Don't open your refrigerator. Just let them be. And just use what you have on the shelf. If you got some bread out, whatever, good to go. Just to recap, Helene is in the Gulf of Mexico, expected to grow to Category 4 intensity as it makes landfall in Florida, the Big Bend area, around 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock tomorrow night. We'll start seeing impacts of Helene as it moves rapidly up the state of Georgia into Athens, Georgia, Atlanta area. We'll start seeing the impacts of that from anywhere from 11, 12 to midnight on. The worst of it's probably going to be towards that 2 and 3 and 4 o'clock hour in the morning. Unfortunately, this is in the middle of the night where a lot of folks are going to be sleeping, and not ideal time to have this happen, which is again why you want to have a phone with weather apps enabled. If you have a weather radio, have that shit on. So ways to continue being in contact. So I'm posting updates on the Athens subreddit. So that's reddit.com/r/Athens. And within that, you'll find a big live thread. There's a ton of posts on there. We've been kind of keeping folks updated. So I'll post there. Also, I'd appreciate if you subscribe to the channel. If you like this video, if you find it useful, share it with your friends. It's fantastic. I don't do a lot of these videos, honestly. I'm pretty busy lady, so but this is a kind of extenuating circumstances, and I want to make sure everyone is safe as we go into tomorrow and tomorrow night. Okay, that's it. So thank you so much for watching, and be safe, and I'll more than likely probably do another video, if not tomorrow morning, definitely by tomorrow night, to kind of give a final update on where we are with things. So please be safe, take care, and we'll see you next time.